Good afternoon, friends. I hope your day is treating you well and that you had a wonderful Easter weekend with lots of rest and relaxation and hopefully some time outside. It's a little chilly here today. I'm wearing a scarf. Here comes my dog with her jingly jangly collar. But I am so glad to be back with you. This is Nutmeg. She likes to come out and join me when I'm on the porch. I wanted to chat with you guys a little bit before we read our story today. It's a little cold. I've got my cup of tea here. So let's have some tea and a chat. Hi, Candy. Hi, Thomas and Lucas and Philip. The chat is this. I have been doing these stories every day, and I love doing them, and I love interacting with you guys. But it is getting to be a lot. So I will still be doing stories with Pastor Macy, but maybe not every single day. There are 30 of them on our YouTube channel, so you can go there to watch them, or you can scroll back on my Facebook page or the Tabernacle Facebook page, and you can see some of the ones we've done earlier. Maybe you can catch up or rewatch some of your favorites. And we'll still be doing them. Don't worry, there will still be new ones coming, but just maybe not every day. We might miss a day here or there. So I'm going to take a sip of my peach ginger tea, and then we're going to read a story. Welcome, Arna. All right, today's story is out of a book called Parables of Fenton Forest. We've read a story from it before. This is written by Gordon Beats and produced by Southern Adventist University. And it is a wonderful little book. Today's story is called Famine in the Forest. There's the picture of all of our Fenton Forest friends. And there's a little blurb before we start our story. Today's story is about faith. As Christians, overcoming doubt, acting on beliefs, and sharing our faith are critical steps during all phases of life. Welcome, Vio. Discussions about belief, ethics, faith, and actions permeate classes at Southern. Professors facilitate discussions for students to share and learn from each other, building a strong foundation. Now remember, this little book is produced by Southern Adventist University. So when it says Southern, it is talking to its audience. But I would just say to my audience that the same is true of Wall University and Andrews University, and hopefully all of our Adventist colleges and universities that are wonderful places for growth and for learning, and for places where those discussions about belief, ethics, faith, and the actions that come with those can be discussed and can become the basis of young people's faith and experience as they grow. So here we go. Famine in the Forest. Once upon a time, in Fenton Forest, there was a famine. The squirrel family had run out of nuts, and the birds were having trouble finding any seeds to sustain their cheerful songs. All the forest folk were very irritable because of their enforced diet. Fortunately, members of Fenton Forest, the planner of the forest, had made arrangements for just such an emergency. He had set aside a large supply of food that could carry them through a number of years of famine. All forest members began thinking about their need for food. And as they did so, they had meetings to discuss the theory of the emergency food supply. They talked about the nature of the food storage and the length of time that it might sustain the community. They theorized about how the food was preserved. None of them took the time and effort to actually seek the place in the forest where the food stores were hidden. Peter Rabbit listened intently to all these discussions about this food supply, and around at the dry grass he had been trying to eat, at the withering trees, and the hot sun. There's our forest friend, Peter Rabbit. He listened to his growling stomach with some excitement said, "Let's go and get something to eat." The other forest inhabitants were a bit embarrassed by his comments. They said to him that he was too inexperienced to understand and that he should not talk so much in their public meetings. Each day they continued to meet and complain about the problem in their forest. At another meeting, Peter got up again and said, "Come on, let's go seek this food we have been talking about. I'm hungry." Gruff Bear was especially upset this time, and he growled as he said, "I'm hungry enough to eat you, Peter. Now be quiet while we talk." Peter was confused. Everybody was talking about these wonderful provisions, and it didn't seem to be doing them any good. One day, Peter decided he would seek this place of food himself. Well, as you can imagine, he found a neglected and overgrown spot in the midst of the forest where few inhabitants ever went. He struggled through weeds and briars and thorns to discover a large underground warehouse full of well-preserved food. He ate his fill and promptly fell fast asleep. The next morning, he woke, ate again, and nodded off. The next time he woke up, Peter thought, "This must be heaven." All of a sudden, Peter realized he must go and tell the other folks about his find. With much increased energy, he bounded back to the forest meeting place and found that the meetings had been canceled. It seems the meetings had broken up over the discussion about the nature of the foundation of the storehouse. Peter did find some hungry friends and told them what he had found. They did not believe until they saw him running around with so much energy. They figured he must have found something and agreed to follow him. Soon they too had eaten their fill. It wasn't long until others discovered the experience of being well fed at a time of famine, and most in the forest were saved by Peter's faith, which wasn't futile. There's a picture of Peter leading his friends to the storehouse. And we have a verse here, and it says, think about it. Matthew 18:3. And he said, "Truly I tell you, unless you change and become like little children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven." I love that story because sometimes it's true. We sit around and we talk about God and we talk about his goodness and all the things he is able to do. And we don't go out and do ourselves. We need to follow Peter Rabbit's example and start doing things and not just always sit around and talk about them. I hope that you have a wonderful day, and I will see you soon again for Stories with Pastor Macy. Bye.